Hello everyone, Mimikins here. Today I'm going to be looking at The Witcher's Silver Sword Plus, along with some DPS and support builds. You can get the materials for crafting this item from the Leshen quest contract in the Ancient Forest. I have a guide up on YouTube for the quest. Once you've made the Silver Sword, you can upgrade it to the Plus version by completing the event quest contract Woodland Spirit against the Ancient Leshen. The sword is usable beforehand, however once it's upgraded it gains more stats as well as an augment slot. The sword is pretty unique. It's from the Witcher game. You don't actually have a physical shield but rather a barrier around the character when you block, which Witcher fans may recognise as Quen. This weapon has good potential to work with majority types of builds due to its huge white sharpness bar, and that's without adding any handicraft skill. The only weapon that rivals its sharpness straight up is the sticks. However, the Silver Sword has the same raw but comes with Dragon Element and Elder Seal High, making it an excellent choice for any monster that has a weakness to dragon. Here are some of the dragon swords and shields in game. The Tara Slicer Dragon, this has huge dragon element potential, however it requires so many skills to unlock. That makes it difficult to build, often having to sacrifice one skill or another to fit things in you want, not to mention lower raw. With the current gear available, this weapon doesn't allow me to build in a way that I'd actually want to use it sadly. Fatal Bite is Devil Jewel Sword and Shield. This one is good but scales better with more raw focused damage sets. Its lack of crit and handicraft makes it more rigid to build for, and if you want the max damage potential, the sharpness bar is lacking, making it less practical to use during longer fights as you'll need to spend time sharpening. I usually like to add extra handicraft in these builds, as some monsters it can be difficult to always target the weak spots. The Kjarr Slicer Dragon is good and already comes with critical element and some affinity. Less raw, higher element, but requires handicraft for white sharpness. Build options will be a bit more flexible as there's no need to have two pieces of the Drathalos set for critical element. I really wish Capcom would add a gamma version of these armours. Data miners have already found a critical element jewel in the files. Perhaps this is something we might see in Iceborne. So I'll just start by showing my Fatal Bite build. This build has 100% crit rate on weak spots. I've added 3 levels of handicraft which will give me 30 hits of white sharpness for times I don't crit. For melee weapons at least, there are going to be times when you don't hit a weak spot, so it's good to have the extra sharpness to fall back on to reduce downtime of sharpening. So now we have the Kjarr and the Witcher. These are much more elemental focused. I have 2 DPS builds. The Witcher sword requires 2 parts of the Drathalos for critical element, therefore I've used the Kaiser set for Master's Touch. If you're wondering why I have Windproof in there, it's because it's the most remotely useful skill I could have used to complete the Wrath set bonus. Kjarr can use the Behemoth set as it doesn't require critical element. Both builds have 100% critical on weak spots while having health regen augment. The tier 3 slot I put peak performance in is the slot I change around depending on what I feel I need. Some people who don't keep HP 100% may prefer a skill like Agitator. Group play, flinch free can be useful to avoid being stumbled by other players, except for those cluster bombers who like to send other team members flying. The damages on the melee hits are very similar, however due to the shield attacks not benefiting from elemental damage, the Witcher sword excels in damage due to higher raw. It has a larger sharpness bar as well, so less sharpening. Overall, the Witcher takes the lead. It will also be more effective on monsters with a 2-star weakness to dragon due to the higher raw. The Witcher Silver Sword also makes an ideal weapon for support builds. I usually use the sticks for support due to its white sharpness and razor sharp for quality of life. The Witcher has a much larger sharpness bar. Although it doesn't last quite as long as the sticks by around 10 hits, this is still likely going to last you until the monster changes area, so it's not really a big deal. The extra dragon element is nice for adding extra damage to monsters weak to dragon. Support builds can be incredibly useful for harder content with random SOS people with varying skill levels. If you'd like additional info on sword support builds, you can also check out my SNS support builds video. I have 2 slightly different support builds to share with you, with varying equipment to help cover any missing gear from event monsters. First build has room for 3 extra jewels while the second has no event gear, and since it uses 4 pieces of the Lunastra set, It comes with Mind's Eye, which is useful against certain monsters with hardened body parts to stop your weapon from deflecting. I really enjoy playing support builds, and they have helped so many groups accomplish wins. For groups that take damage, it can actually help increase DPS, as only one person will need to heal to top everyone off. And Sword and Shield can do this so easily without having to sheath. Combined with speed eating, you can get back to attacking fast as well. Support builds will no doubt be even more useful for the expansion if Master Rank is anything like the old G rank, especially considering players will be learning new monster attack patterns and making mistakes. The Witcher Silver Sword Plus is worth farming and doesn't rely on RNG drop rates like Culve. Even if you haven't farmed for the Gamma sets, this weapon's high sharpness level makes it a good addition to almost any build. Feel free to check out my other support SNS builds, which show different weapons and goes into more depth regarding skills and buffs. Thanks for watching, please support the channel by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.